Good evening and welcome to KiniNews. Here are today's top stories. Harapan was rather optimistic last month when they signed that MoU. But according to Anwar Ibrahim, not much has happened since then and Harapan isn't too happy about it.
Pakatan Harapan was promised reforms by the federal government when they signed the Memorandum of Understanding on September 13th. Weeks have passed and Anwar Ibrahim still hasn't seen the reforms he was promised.
Tapi saya nak beritahu, walaupun ada sedikit kemajuan, kemajuan itu sangat lemah. Sehingga kan reform parlimen pun belum ada kejayaan apa-apa. Janji yang dibuat sudah lebih 1 bulan dan tidak ada satu komitmen untuk melaksanakan selain dari war-warkan soal kestabilan politik.
Anwar told Parliament this after Minister Mustapa Mohamed brought up the importance of political stability to improve the economy.
Beberapa langkah lain juga bertentangan dengan semangat demokrasi dan transparansi dan semangat untuk bekerjasama seperti mana yang disebut oleh Perdana Menteri. Tetapi saya nak nyatakan pada hari ini, kita tidak berpuas hati kerana lembab dan sengaja dilengahkan.
It was a very emotional day for Rosmah Mansor in court today simply because she says the prosecution has not been fair to her.
Rosmah Mansor was left in tears in the courtroom today as she faced corruption charges linked to the 1.25 billion ringgit solar hybrid energy project. As she wiped her tears, she said it was all selective and malicious prosecution, referring to the 3 corruption charges against her. Rosmah, who is the wife of Najib Abdul Razak, was sobbing loudly when it was her turn to testify. She questioned why others were not charged, namely the then Education Minister Madzir Khalid and a former officer, Rizal Mansor. Rosmah said instead of charging them, the prosecution called them to testify and point fingers against her.
It'll soon be time for Malacca to decide who they want as their leaders, as after a rather quick press conference yesterday afternoon, the State Legislative Assembly was dissolved just like that.
The Malacca State Legislative Assembly is no more. Yesterday, while most of you were at work, a decision was made to dissolve the Assembly. All this because Idris Harun and 3 other state assembly persons decided to withdraw support for the UMNO-led state government. This means those in Malacca will get to vote for their state reps all over again. With COVID-19 still possibly lurking at every corner, PM Ismail Sabri Yaakob said he'll make sure that the election follows strict COVID-19 prevention SOPs. I mean, who would want the disastrous aftermath of the Sabah election to reoccur? With this, the Election Commission said it will meet to discuss the matter, but did not reveal exactly when. The idea of declaring a state of emergency has also been raised by some politicians so that the election can be postponed. UMNO Zaid Hamidi is one of them, while others like lawyer Hanif Khatri Abdullah said the polls must go on, but with strict SOPs.
And now a short message from our sponsor. When we're back, let's see how prepared Harapan is for the elections in Malacca.
Shellfish, red meat, and beer. If you love indulging in these foods, you may end up with high uric acid level in your blood. These foods consist high level of purine, a substance that will eventually break down into uric acid and be excreted through our urine. It is recommended that the amount of dietary purines should be kept between 600 to 1000 milligrams per day. Having too much uric acid in your blood can cause attacks of gout. It can also cause kidney stones and blockage in the kidney. The crystallization of the excessive uric acid in your blood can be eased by reducing purine-rich food to only 100 to 150 milligrams daily, maintaining a healthy lifestyle, and consuming urinary alkalinizer like Ural. It consists of sodium bicarbonate, citric acid, and sodium citrate that increases the urinary pH and solubility of uric acid to prevent crystallization. Best of all, it's lemon-flavored and sugar-free. Ural, effective urinary alkalinizer. Neutralize your uric acid problem now.
Welcome back. Pakatan Harapan appears to be stuck between a rock and a hard place when it comes to the snap polls in Malacca, and they don't seem to have a solution just yet.
Pakatan Harapan does not want a snap election to take place in Malacca. In fact, it's also not in favour of an emergency to postpone the elections. So, what does Harapan want? Malacca Harapan chief, Adli Zahari, is hoping the political crisis in the state could be resolved without needing a vote. However, he did not explain how Harapan plans to ensure political stability. Adli said, an emergency in Malacca would be bad news and would jeopardize the state's economy as the state prepares to reopen its doors to tourism.
Medical use of marijuana may soon be legal in Malaysia, but don't get your hopes too high yet. There's still a long road ahead.
Malaysia has always come down hard on drug-related offences, with the death penalty still in use for traffickers. Malaysia has also not legalised the use of medical marijuana. However, that could change in the future. Home Affairs Minister Hamzah Zahruddin said Putrajaya is looking into legalisation.
Pertamanya kepada Yang Berhormat MoU tadi, memang betul kita sedang mengkaji melalui jawatankuasa ini yang saya sebutkan tadi, dan beberapa kementerian sedang melihat bagaimana untuk kita mencari jalan sama ada kegunaan cannabis for medical purposes itu boleh dilakukan dan dikaji bagaimana undang-undang yang boleh digunakan nanti, insya-Allah.
This comes after MoU MP Syed Saddiq asked the government to table a science and data-driven working paper on the pros and cons of using hemp or medical marijuana.
Rosmah wasn't the only one whose tears today made headlines. Nur Azman did it too, but the only difference is that he did so in front of the cameras.
Maafkan kami. Saya cakap saya ikhlas. Nangis saya bukan main-main.
Pantai Kundur State Assembly person Nur Azman Hassan broke down at a press conference today while apologising to the people of Malacca.
Saya minta maaf pada rakyat di Melaka. Kami buat ini untuk kamu semua. Tak ada kepentingan diri kami. Saya pun dah jumpa macam-macam orang. Saya dah jumpa macam-macam orang yang memberi nasihat. Bila saya terangkan, dia tahu saya ni siapa. Dia orang kenal saya.
Nur Azman joined Idris Harun and two others to withdraw their support from the BNPN government, triggering the dissolution of the Malacca State Assembly yesterday. According to him, there were three lions in power who had destroyed the state, prompting them to withdraw their support.
That's a wrap for Kini News this evening. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook to get the latest news updates. If you'd like to support the independent media, please do consider a subscription to MalaysiaKini.com. When you're heading out, don't forget your mask. And when you can, please still do try to stay home. I'm Daniel Anthony. Thank you for watching. And as always, stay safe, Malaysia.